Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Me First Mornings. I am your host and energy alchemist, Patricia Ribeiro-Wolfson. I'm also an intuitive coach and an energy healer, and a wife and mom to 3 boys. And yes, it's as crazy as you think it is. I like to say that because sometimes people are like, oh, 3 boys. And I'm like, yeah, it's 3 boys. And I love it. It's amazing and super gratifying. Also, super crazy. All right. So my mission is to help you, number one, calibrate your energy. We talk a lot about that on the show. And really, I think it is your number one defense to navigating through the challenges that we are faced with every single day. Number 2, my goal is to help you integrate self-care into easy, doable steps in your daily routine, because it's super important for you to take care of yourself, but it's also very hard to do if you are a caregiver or a parent or someone who typically will always take care of other people and leave yourself last. Well, this show, of course, is called Me First, and that is so that you put yourself first, because if you're taken care of, if your energy is calibrated, well, then you are a much better support system for everyone else who relies on you to hold space for them or to be their support system in whatever way you are. And number 3, it is super important and my main mission to help you shine your light in the world in your own unique way, because we all have a way that we shine. We all have the things that light us up, that give us life, that bring us joy. And it is absolutely your purpose and mission on this planet to use your vessel in a way that brings you joy, to shine your light onto the world. So, let's figure out what that is. And one of the ways that I help people figure out what it is that they can do to bring more joy and fulfillment into their life, of course, as I work with them through the GPS system. And the GPS system is something I talk about pretty much every day on the show. And that is because I find it is absolutely essential. So I use GPS in the exact, way that we know it, global positioning system, right? But I use it as an internal GPS. And this is a way for you to anchor yourself into the feeling that you are looking to capture or to create or to embody in your life. Because we all want to feel a certain way, right? Well, we certainly know how we don't want to feel. We don't want to feel sad, angry, upset, jealous, all the things that we feel that we typically associate with being bad feelings, but they are not bad feelings at all. They are simply information indicating to you where you stand and where your inner guidance stands in relation to how you are feeling right now, right? And so there's a separation, and that's what makes us feel disconnected and separate and maybe a little lost, especially these days, because there's been so many things for us to navigate, both energetically and, physically with, the last 2 years of pandemic, and now we've got a war going on and all sorts of things happening that are really an assault to our energetic system. And it's up to us to calibrate to our own, to our own word, our own grounding sense, right? Like our own inner guidance. That's what we need to calibrate to, because if we are allowing ourselves to be led by everyone else's energy, thoughts, beliefs, patterns, then we are not in ourselves. We are like sort of living our lives through other people. And you don't want to do that. You want to bring everything back to yourself, get yourself centered and focused, and really calibrate to your highest and greatest good. Calibrate to your personal inner guidance, because only you know what feels right and in alignment with your higher self. Only you know. And you know that by how you feel. And so the GPS word is a word that just helps guide you along that path. And so for anybody who has not yet downloaded the GPS workbook, it is free. Go ahead and just download free GPS workbook. And this is going to be a great way to get you on track and started in managing and calibrating your energy. Also, if you guys have not yet subscribed, I was like, what's the word I'm looking for? If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead, go to YouTube, look for Jumpstart for Change, smash that subscribe button, ding that little notification bell, and you will be notified anytime I go live. Of course, you know, you can find me here Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. All right, now that we've taken care of business, what are we going to talk about today? What is today's topic? Well, it is momentum. Now, momentum is something that's really, really important and something that I talk about a lot. Of course, it is the first letter of Me First. For those of you who don't know, Me First is an acronym. M being momentum, right? E being energy. F being frequency and focus, I being inner work, R being relationships, S being showing up, and T being trust. So there's a system there that I, sort of use on a daily basis, but I don't go through it every single day. It's just that I know what those things mean. And when I'm working things through my own personal development, I always take that acronym into consideration and see where it is that I need to do the focus. Where is it that I need to open up and do a little bit more inner work on which section? Okay. So, of course, that's a whole system, and that is I usually do with people that are working with me, and I'm happy to tell you more about that. If you want to reach out, go right ahead. Other than that, I just give you a good basis and foundation for you to understand why I talk about these things on the show, and also hopefully giving you some helpful tips and tools and strategies that you can apply to your own life when you are navigating your own challenges, because that's really what it's about, right? Is navigating challenges. You're not going to come and watch this show when everything's going great. I mean, maybe you are, and let's hope you do. But generally speaking, when we are out looking for things and trying to look for answers, it's because things are not as we hoped. There are things that we want to improve upon or evolve in. And so that is what I aim and hope to help you with on this show. All right, so we are talking about momentum. And of course, if you guys saw my post, then I'm going to talk to you about why I started walking in pajamas. Now, I don't always walk in pajamas, but if you want to find out exactly why, I will be talking about it in a little bit. All right, in the meantime, let us get started with our morning routine so that we can get centered and grounded and set our intentions for the day. And then we'll talk a little bit more about momentum and why it's so important for us to act in order to execute momentum, right? So action creates momentum, because when you're taking an action, it is energy that is in motion, right? And then that energy that is in motion, you start to get into a flow. It creates a flow. And so when you are flowing, you are doing. And then the more you do within that flow, the more you get accomplished. And chances are you also do it faster, right? And you guys know this in terms of momentum. Like if you kind of have to take something up the stairs, right? And you get up and you walk up the stairs and you drop it off, and then you come back down and you realize, oh man, I have something else that I need to take upstairs. And then, so then, okay, you pick it up and you go walk back up the stairs and drop it off, and you come back downstairs, and then you're like, oh my God, I have something else that I forgot. And so you pick it up and you go upstairs, and my goodness, like here you've gone now 3 times, and that's a lot of energy expenditure, right? Because you're always going from a still or stagnant place, right? In this description, you go up and down, and then you're like, oh, got to do it again, and you up and down, right? So you need to kind of fuel up or get going. Almost like, when you start a car and you start the engine, it takes a lot of energy to start that engine than if you just start driving. Same thing, same concept with this vessel that we work within. Good morning, Dad. Thank you. Enjoy your day. So what that is if you were to, for example, you're heading up the stairs and you're like, okay, what do I need to take up the stairs? And you pick all 3 things at once and then you go up. It is a much faster thing. Well, of course, it's much faster because you've picked up everything up at once. But also that movement, that motion, even if you were to go up the stairs and turn right around, come back down, and then go up the stairs, come back down, within that motion, you're still taking advantage of the flow, right? As long as you don't stop or sit down. Well, this is just describing sort of the energy of momentum. And energetically speaking, if you are able to tap into the flow, right? And when you get yourself in a flow, you are combining your energy and tapping into the universal flow too, because there's always kind of a flow and you feel it. You feel it because it's like when you feel like you're grooving, right? It's like catching a wave and you're like, oh, like, you sort of go up and almost float. And it's not that you're not doing anything, but the wave is doing a lot of the work for you. And so that's the idea behind momentum, where the momentum, the energy that you pick up while in motion, in that energy of momentum, that helps alleviate some of the stress and overwhelm, and also take some of the pressure and energy away, where you are not adding that energy, but yet you are taking advantage of the flow of that energy to get things accomplished. I hope that made sense. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the chat. And in the meantime, let us light our candle and start with our morning routine. All right, hold on a second. I have to cut some of this. You got to get the wick. There we go. I did it. So now it won't be all flaky. Aha, beautiful. All right. Now let's put on some sacred frankincense, which is what I like to use as my essential oil when we're getting our, little morning ritual down. Feel free to say hi if you guys are watching. Okay, putting a little essential oils on my neck. Over here, you can put it on your pulse points. You can put it wherever you like. I like to put it in my hair, but my hair is up and wet right now, so it's not going to absorb much of the scent, I don't think. Anyway, now it's time to grab our crystal spheres, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths together. And in these 3 deep breaths, the purpose is we want to clear our vessel, right? We want to connect with spirit, and we want to charge up our system for the day, right? We are, this is our vessel, our physical vessel that holds our spirit, our soul, right? That holds our energy. And so what we want to do is we want to clear this vessel. We want to make sure that it is functioning so it can get source energy running through it beautifully without any interruptions, right? I like to explain it like a water hose, right? You have the water hose and you have the water that flows through the hose. And during this morning ritual, we kind of take the kinks out of the hose, right? We like stretch it out and make sure things are flowing. And I like to say we're made of, stardust and earth dust, or, dirt. And so in this morning ritual that we do together, we are calling in the energy of the heavens and calling in the energy of the earth, both things that make up who we are as these human beings, living, or spiritual beings living a human life, living on this physical planet. And we call in the energy from what makes us up so that we can charge our system fully for the day. All right, here we go. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. The first one, I want to focus on the top of your head. I just want you to open up the top of your head, or imagine that you're opening up the top of your head. And we are just calling in that liquid sunshine, that beautiful healing light and love, that life force energy that the sun gives to us each and every day. Let's just allow that to pour into our body. And when we see that beautiful bright light pouring into our body, we're going to allow it to break apart or dissipate any stuck, stagnant, or dense energy. And with our exhale, we will release whatever does not serve us. Okay, let's do that now. And hold. And release. Okay, let's do that one more time with our feet well planted on the ground. I want you to now to imagine that there is a root coming up from under the earth, right? Just coming through your feet and just going up through every single part of your body and just stretching out, giving you that life force energy, the same life force energy that causes the buds to break through and blossom in the spring. I want you to imagine that same energy running through your body, filling you with hope, with life, and with love. Okay, here we go. And hold. And release. Beautiful. And let's take one last deep breath together. Make this count. And I want you to imagine that you're calling in that energy from the heavens and the energy from the earth coming in like this. And I want you to just imagine a beautiful, brilliant white light through that energy that comes into your body, that blending of that energy. I want you to just put a bubble of light around you, protecting you and holding you safe, keeping you safe from harm, releasing any and all things that don't serve you energetically, physically, and also with any beliefs that you may be ready to release. We will release them with the exhale, and we will just visualize this beautiful bubble of light forming around us to protect our energy for the day. All right, let's do that now. Deep breath in and hold. Imagine the light just forming around you, protecting you. Beautiful. And release. Good morning, Meredith. All right, so that's it for that breath. Thank you for joining me with that. And now let's do a little stretching, of course, the way we do a little bit every morning. If you have time to do more stretching, well, then even better. I just do a little bit to release any sort of stuck, stagnant tension, right? You can see that I'm stretching because it hurts. All right, here we go. Beautiful. That was a back crack. I don't know if you guys could hear that out there in Facebook and YouTube land, but it was a good crack. All right, now shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Beautiful. All right. Thank you for joining me for that. So now we're going to set our intention with our Me First Morning prayer. Feel free to join me in the prayer or set the intention that the prayer is meant for you as well. Or you can say your own prayer that's connected to your own spiritual or religious beliefs. Or you can just sit in silence and set the intention with your mind, just thinking about either your GPS word or just imagine how you would like to move through your day today. What is your anchor for today? What is your main feeling for today? How do you want to feel? Is it peaceful? Is it connected? Is it abundant? Is it productive? Whatever word speaks to you right now, you can set that forth as your intention for the day. And we're going to call in the spiritual support team to help us embody that feeling all day long. All right, here we go. Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, and all beings of 100% pure white light, allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of infinite consciousness connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve us, that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Help us to embody our intentions for the day and help us raise the collective vibration for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, and so it is. All right. So, all right, let's get to it right now. Why did I start walking in my pajamas? Okay. So, years ago, and I'm going to start pulling cards, or I'm going to start to pull to shuffle the deck and talk so that we can talk about the momentum and see what our spirit team has to say about momentum. But I want to share this with you. So years ago when the kids were little, and I used to be able to take one or two of them in the stroller, I was going out for runs quite a bit. And I was, I really made it a priority to take care of my health. I wanted to, mainly because I hated running. And so I was like, I'm going to prove that I can do it even though I hate it. And I started running. Anyway, it was really great. And I felt really good about myself. I felt really good about, going out there and running. But truth be told, I didn't really get much else done other than my physical activity. So after a while, and as the kids got older and I needed to sort of organize my day a little bit different, and I started doing more of my, taking my business, sort of increasing my business and my attention to my business, I had less and less time to do that. And so I just stopped running and walking, and I stopped like physical activity. I just stopped. And I'm someone too that, you guys know I've talked about having ADHD or ADD, neither one technically diagnosed, but oh boy, I fit the bill. But the thing is also routine is important for me. It's how I'm able to, even though I resist it, it's how I'm able to accomplish things. But I also need to make things super, super easy, and I need to eliminate steps, right? So the idea of, getting up in the morning, getting the kids ready for school, and then going and changing into my workout clothes and going for a walk wasn't going to happen, which was how I was doing things. Of course, there's also the easy solution of just getting up in the morning and putting on workout clothes right away. And so that way you can go running whenever the time comes. But it just didn't work for me. It didn't work for me because if on the days that I didn't go running, I didn't want my running stuff. Now, I know I'm like an anomaly. Most people like wearing their leisure wear all day, and I have no problem with that, and I think that's amazing. But for me, it just made me feel like if I wore my workout clothes and then didn't work out, it just made me feel terrible about myself at the end of the day. And so I would just beat myself up, and I just gave up and stopped doing it. So then one day I went to go walk, take my kids to the school bus, and I was still in pajamas because that's just the way I roll. I wasn't ready in the morning, and that's who I am. And you guys know me. I'm always going to tell you what, the real, right? And so, I don't get up early in the morning. I don't get up an hour before my kids and make sure that I've had my coffee and my meditation and all that stuff. And I really, really like to. And believe me, I really would. It just hasn't happened. I haven't been able to make it happen. And so part of the reason that I share Me First Mornings and share my own personal stories on Me First Mornings is because I want to let you know that it's okay to do things differently. It's okay to do things in your own way. The important thing is that you're doing what feels good to you. And if you can figure out a way to make it work so that you can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish, then awesome. So here is what I did. I found myself taking the kids to the bus in the morning, and I'd be out there in my pajamas. They'd get on the bus, and it was like the wind was hitting me. The weather would be nice. And I'm like, I should just go for a walk right now. And I'm like, but I'm in my pajamas, like literally in my PJs. Now, I wear like, pants and a tank top, but still. So what happened? Well, I decided that I was just going to go for a walk. And so one day after I put the kids on the bus, I just kept walking. I just literally went on the bus and I started walking around the block. And it felt really good. And I didn't care. I didn't care that I didn't have the proper attire. I didn't care. At first I cared, and I felt a little kind of self-conscious because I was wearing my pajamas as I was walking, although this was in the winter. So, not many people saw because I had my jacket. But what happened is that I took advantage of the momentum of me already being outside, and I just started walking. I eliminated the step of, because that's the stopper for me personally, and many people that I know. The second you're like, I should first grab a glass of water. I should first put on my running shoes. I should first put on this. I should first put on that. I understand. And if you're the type of person, and there are people out there who's, really well organized, or, those types of little details don't stop you. And so you can go inside and drink water and do whatever it is you need to do. And then still go outside and accomplish whatever you were planning to accomplish. In my case, I'm talking about running. Then awesome, good for you. That's great. But if you're like me and it takes you a lot to actually just go and do the thing, and there's something about that processing there that is ADD specific, where it's like the idea of the idea of doing something can sometimes feel very daunting, and that overwhelm will often stop me and other people like me, right? And so this step eliminates that. Now, of course, the ideal situation is wake up early, put your workout clothes on, and then still continue doing the same thing. But that's not how it worked for me. And so that's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you, is that on the days that I, just couldn't get it together, at least I was outside, and I was like, pajamas or not, I'm going for a walk. And I was able to add that into my routine in a different way, without pressure, without guilt. And I was like, okay, well, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing, right? And that was the goal. And that also created momentum, because then what happened? So the two scenarios is me going outside, putting the kids on the bus, coming inside, and then I get distracted. I get a phone call. I start scrolling. I go to grab a drink and change clothes, but those things don't happen. And so I was often finding myself, at the end of the day, feeling terrible because I didn't do what I wanted to do, and I easily got distracted. But on the days that I would get the kids on the bus and then start walking right away, I would come home and I already felt accomplished. And that brings with it a sense, of course, a sense of accomplishment, but also the momentum, because you're already in motion. And so instead of me then coming home and then getting distracted, I was already in motion, so that I'd come in, I'd grab a glass of water, and I'd start moving, and I would start, along with my day, I would take advantage of that momentum and continue being productive. And that's the secret, and that's the key. So I don't always walk in my pajamas these days, but sometimes, I won't necessarily put on my running shoes. I've been walking in Uggs all week this week, for example, because it's, and things for my own life have kind of gotten complicated in terms of I don't always have a set time that I can go out. So I will, the second I feel like this is a good time for me to go, even if I only have a half hour, I will just get outside. It doesn't matter what kind of bra I'm wearing, what kind of shirts I'm wearing, what kind of pants. I'll go out in jeans and my Uggs and just take a walk through the neighborhood. And that is enough for me. It's enough for me to get what I need. It's enough for me to feel accomplished. And it's also enough for me to start kicking in that momentum, so that when I come back, I continue the momentum and do other things that I need to do. And that's really what this is about. It's about us being able to forget about how to begin. Forget about how you're going to get the energy, or, how you can begin, and just begin. And it doesn't even matter. You don't have to begin with the thing you need to do the most, right? Because that's what stops us sometimes is the overwhelm of what do I need to do now? What's the most important thing for me to focus on right now? And so you sit and you think, you're like, what's the most important thing for me to focus on? Well, I should do this. Oh, but then if I do that, I didn't do this. Oh, and then if I didn't do this, I really should do that, because that's the most important thing. And before you know it, an hour and a half has passed and you haven't actually done any of the things that you need to do. And so the most important choice when you are feeling stuck or stagnant or anxious and overwhelmed for either one of those feelings, the very best first step is the one that gets you moving. Whatever that might be, whether that's going for a walk, whether that's throwing in a load of laundry, whether that's, taking a walk to somebody's desk and having a conversation with them, depending on where you are and what you're doing, the very best next step is always the one that gets you moving, because then that kicks off your momentum. Then you can make choices and see what's the next best step. All right, let's pull these cards and see what the cards have to say. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for the hearts. Meredith, thank you for the heart too. I share these things with you because this is how I've had to figure out how to, make the best of my day and work things in a way that works for me in my busy life, with the challenges that I have with my 3 kids from when they were little up until right now, and how my life is right now. And I'm sharing this with you because the way you run things on a day-to-day basis does not necessarily have to look like the way other people run their day or run their business or run their home or run their personal life. You can forge your own path, and you can go out and walk in pajamas if that is the only way you're going to get outside. And that's really been, my point. Motion is lotion. Oh my God, I love that, Meredith. Is that your saying? I don't know where that came from. I love that. It's so true. It's like motion is lotion. It keeps you moving and grooving. It's so true. All right, here we go. Let's pull a card. Look at this. Number 11 is our card for this, and it's the balancing act. Okay, first of all, 11, angel number. Awesome, right? Always the angels telling you that you are not alone, okay? You are not alone. And let me tell you something, that the universe really favors action and momentum, right? Because if you can tap into the energy of the universe, right, and into that universal flow, well, then you are not working as hard because you are using the energy of the universe, right? And we've used this example before, like a car is going along the street and then a skateboarder goes along behind it and then it grabs onto the back of the car. And so then they move a lot faster. Well, they're still on the skateboard and it's still them, but the actual energy is being, used by the car, and they're not actually using their own energy, but they can take advantage of the momentum and the motion in order to keep moving. Well, it's the same thing with the universe, right? When we start going like alongside the universe and moving, we can quickly sort of jump in and hang on to the back tail, so to speak, of that universal flow and allow the universe to take us through things a lot smoother. And it goes a little bit better because we're already in motion. Patrick's uncle says it. Oh my God, I love that saying, motion is lotion. It's fantastic. Okay, so here, balancing act. And that's the thing, right? With momentum, you are in a balancing act because you, of course, want to take advantage of the momentum that's going to move you forward, but you also need to pay attention to the momentum that is going to sort of throw you off your game, right? And you can get momentum through your thoughts. And we talk a lot about that or people talk a lot about that in law of attraction, which is, if you think about something for a long enough period of time, then it creates momentum. And you want to keep those thoughts that you've given momentum to in alignment with your higher self, right? And the momentum that you want to avoid is that downward spiral, right? And that momentum is, when you have these limiting beliefs or these thoughts and you're like, I can't do this, or I've never done this, or nobody in my family's ever done this, and I can't accomplish this, and I'm not worthy, right? You can also connect with the momentum of despair, right? The momentum of sort of like this downward spiral where you start beating yourself up and compounding that guilt and the shame and all of that. We don't want to increase that momentum. So we need to learn how to balance and kind of slow that down, slow down the momentum if you're heading in a direction that does not feel good or connected or in alignment with your higher self, and instead switch and increase the momentum that goes in the direction that makes you feel good, that fuels you, that like sort of projects you forward, right? You have to take advantage of that momentum that moves you closer and closer to your goal. And how do you know you're moving closer and closer to your goal? Because you feel it energetically, right? Energy or emotion is energy in motion, right? So when you are moving along happily and feeling that excitement and you're like, yes, this feels good, then you're heading in the right direction. And if you feel yourself kind of moving like slow and like molasses and it's like, it's taking so much energy for you to move forward, then you have to really stop and think about whether or not this is the direction that you're meant to go. Because if you're not feeling the excitement behind that, and if you're really not feeling that propulsion forward, then it's probably because you are disconnected from that path. And so you need to think about, okay, where do I want to focus and how do I want to move forward from here? Okay, so I think that's about it. We're getting to the end. Well, we are at the end of our day. I hope that was helpful. Remember, the key is just get moving in whatever way you can in order to take advantage of the momentum and the flow of the universe. Because if you can hook onto that, you can pretty much do anything, and you'll see things unfolding much quicker than if you're kind of just sitting and waiting for things to show up. Not that they can't show up for you, but as I said before, the universe favors action, right? So if you can take any action that gets you moving, well, then you're a step ahead of the game. All right, I will be back tomorrow. It is Fun Friday, so don't forget to come and bring some questions. Maybe you have some questions for the Oracle cards. I'm happy to take a question or two tomorrow. So don't forget to be here. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to Jumpstart for Change and smash that subscribe button. Ding that notification bell. Please spread the word, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.